Forgot the cheers. Our audience loves us. Welcome back for another episode of Starlog Diaries. We haven't done one of these more introspective types of episodes in a long time. But we had a lot of fun with the table reads, and I do want to do more of them. It's just we wanted to get back to some of our favorites and talk about them a bit. So today we have a couple of fine young gentlemen joining us. Diesel
Where?
has been generous to me. Who's been generous enough to play Riker and Worf and a bevy of other characters in some of those other table reads. I think we've only done 2, but it feels like it's been so many for some reason. Still not enough. Need to do more. And Darnell, thank you.
Hello.
For joining us this evening.
Always a great character actor.
Always a great character actor. The goons, the thugs, the
Oh my god.
Kings, like you can do it all. It's fantastic.
Oh my god, you
Table
sound
reads are
like
really fun.
what? What is it? Snagglepuss?
Yeah.
That was hilarious, man. You know, I saw something about that the other day. They had some kind of Hanna-Barbera thing, and it was like Snagglepuss was talking. I was like, Darnell, you did it spot on. I remembered all that, man. All those crazy Hanna-Barbera cartoons, like the Great Race with all that crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Grape Ape. What was that
The
about?
Laugh Olympics.
Yeah, the Laugh Olympic. Yeah, that's what it was that I saw.
Yep.
Well, let's say hi to some of the peoples, and they're coming in 19 across all platforms. So thank you to all the YouTube thingies and hit the buttons and whatever. Thank you. We have Seabrew Hale. Yeah, I think he's dual tabbing it because I saw him over on Gooch's stream. So thank you, appreciate you. Jasmine, Tammy, my law tube friend, Tim F. Hey, I know that guy. Snagglepuss. We got Jake, who also did a gifty of 5 months name membership. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Let me find it. Jake! Every time I see him in chat, I think of that clip, so I had to upload it a while back. So thank you, Jake. You're awesome. And we got Kada, who has been on our cast before. For the table reads and will again. We're in a fly, also dual tabbing it, no doubt. John Gordon, doggies, yeah, the potato pugs back there. They're menaces. Yes, hi Tammy. And Mr. Tech Rat. This is gonna be fun after binging Gemstones. Diesel just sounds like Uncle Baby Billy now. Did any of you watch Righteous Gemstones?
No.
I've heard about this character though.
Binge
I can
watched
tell
it.
by the name it's some kind of southern redneck thing, man. Uncle
It's
Baby, yeah, of course, man. I can't help it. Look, the accent is permanent. I'm like old, so it's not going anywhere. Everybody down here is all slow.
I was on with Third Railify yesterday, and Chris, who's his main guy, was there with his wife. Those two have the best, super thick Georgia accents.
Big time.
I was like, wow. That had me picking up my Texas drawl, coming back, just listening to them for like an hour or so.
I like how much the accent makes no one want to pick it up ever. They're just like, oh, everything I've heard about Alabama is true. I'm like, yup. Inbreeding, all kinds of stuff. Yep.
I do start to pull out more of the twang. Like I do the howdies and I do the y'alls and I do that stuff just naturally because I live in a country-ish town, even though it's in California. And sometimes you do the thing where you do something, you overemphasize and you do it as a kind of a joke and then it just sticks. I mean, you'll for a while there back, about 10 years ago. The Angry Badger with 5 gifted membership.
You.
Oh, I'm gonna tell Gooch. Supposed to be stream right now. Speaking of,
okay, I'm gonna go buy some honey, mate.
I love freaking Homestar Runner, man.
Monster Runner's so good, and one for the road for Badger. Thank you.
Hi! I'm Barnacle Badger, and I'm gonna be your Badger Burger waiter for this evening. Okay, here are some menus. Okay, I'm gonna be right back to Badger for your order.
Has anybody seen the Thumb movies?
No, but I now want to.
Yes. I have.
That was from the Thumb Father, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now that freaking Badger song just popped into my brain.
Oh.
Oh.
Mushroom, mushroom,
That one?
That's some old school stuff right there, man.
Teen Girl Squad, yes. The ugly one.
So, what's her face? You know, we didn't know how good we had it. I mean, we really enjoyed the
Oh,
internet back then, but
Yeah, we had
Newgrounds.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Those
Yeah,
G.I.
yeah.
Joe public service announcements.
Yes.
Pork chop sandwiches. Oh shit! What the
Fuck
fuck?
out
Get
here.
the
The fuck is wrong with you?
Man, that smelled good.
Yeah, you told me do stuff. I done running.
Hey kid, I'm a computer. Stop all the
Fever. I can multitask.
I don't know about a computer. I got one at home. Play the library sometime.
Who wants a body massage?
Sorry.
Oh, have Roadblock out there singing.
Oh no.
Body
Last
massage.
one. There's a penis pump.
Oh
I
God.
don't think I saw that one.
I liked the Darkwing Duck.
Thinking about Darkwing Duck today. There was a character in something I was watching. Her name was Morgana. And I was like, wasn't that the baddie that was pretty hot? I mean, she's a duck cartoon, but wasn't she kind of a hot villain in
I
Darkwing
think
Duck?
they did have Morgana, who was a hot villain in Darkwing Duck. Yes, I believe they did.
What do you think about them remaking a Darkwing Duck these days? Like, leave it alone? Or I'm more of a leave it alone kind of person.
I don't. If they could do it well, if they would have new stories and good writing.
Well,
woohoo!
okay,
can't trust them.
DuckTales was done good. They redid DuckTales and that was pretty good.
It was.
It
Did they
stayed
do-
true to it stayed true to the show original.
Like
But
there were-
you, like you said, you can't be sure.
You
Never
just
know.
can't trust them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It did. Yeah, David Tennant played Scrooge McDuck and it was really good. But again, why remake stuff when you could just? Well, I mean, I get why they're remaking stuff and
Trust
going
them
to
to
the
get
well
any of them.
because that's what we want. That's what we watched. Anything they put out, that was stupid. But they make this old stuff stupid.
I just
But
don't
that's the
trust
point. They
them,
don't
man.
have any imagination. They don't
Nope.
have any
Exactly.
like the.
Leave it alone.
The
I said this
creativity
earlier
is
tonight on
gone,
I
man.
said this earlier tonight on Pop Culture Patriots, but you used to be a job called Imagineer. You literally got paid by Disney to do nothing more than imagine things and come up with the next cool ideas or figure out new ways to do stuff. And they have no critical thinking and no ability to actually take from history and build on it. They can only take from history and then destroy it
They just wanna put-
Regurgitate it in
insert
it,
their
like, and then
in,
yeah.
in a much
message
worse way.
in
How
there.
can we change it?
Yeah,
Mhm.
let's put our message in there because we have to own the chuds, or it's our duty to blah 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 ad nauseum. You know,
Diversify, be progressive, and change the past because the past was problematic. Yeah, no, thank you. Leave my IPs alone. But today, speaking of precious IPs, we are revisiting Star Trek's Next Generation, Season 5, Episode 2, which is one of my favorites. Tiny says it's her favorite, I believe.
Mhm.
Darmok. So, how familiar with this episode were you guys? Because I think you guys just watched it today, or the
I rewatched it today.
Yeah, I saw it.
It reminded. I when it aired, I saw the episode. I remembered why I hated it today.
you
Because
hate it.
It was so frustrating.
yes, it was
It's
frustrating.
Like, I'm like almost screaming at the screen. Like
I would have blown up their ship, and I would have fired on them inside 5 minutes.
Okay.
That's why I'm not good at negotiate. I have no patience. Don't send me in to negotiate. I'll start
you're
a
the security
intergalactic
team.
war.
You're the security team.
Yeah, don't put me on there. I'd be there with Worf. Let's kill them.
Let's kill them all.
Well, the whole thing too,
Well-
man. It's like the dude has English mixed in with his gibberish, which is what's frustrating. I'm like, I know you know English. You know what a damn river is.
Yeah, it was.
You know
it
what
was
the
frustrating.
words are, but they're just out of
But
sequence.
that's the whole point. The whole idea
I know.
behind
I
it
know.
is that the universal translator is literally translating the words correctly. It's translating them into English for us or for them, but it doesn't matter what the words are. The intent is the problem.
Right. No. I like as the episode went on, I was like, feeling a little more relaxed about it. But I remember when I first saw it, I was just like, oh God. Oh, it was so. It's like that connector's almost there, and it when it happens in movies, I get like anxiety.
Oh, I get
So
that.
you're not
I guess that's to some degree. And it's funny. I feel that way about a lot of scenes where I'm just like, don't be stupid. Just do the whatever. I get that. But for some reason, this episode never gave me that personally. Just, it was one of the episodes that made me really want to become an anthropologist. It was one of the episodes that really showed me one of the things I loved about Trek was these different ways of looking at civilization in general.
Yeah.
Looking at it now,
the show all about aliens made me want to learn more about humans.
I find it very hard to believe that if they're talking in all these ridiculous metaphors, they could have ever built that ship. There's no way. They'd have been sitting around Darmok and River and stuff, and they'd be like, you don't know about complex chemistry? You're talking metaphors.
You know,
we don't know anything about their math or their science. Just because the way they normally speak is in metaphor doesn't mean that their math or their science would be the same way.
Right.
I don't know. I have in-depth knowledge and experience with memes, and I think I can communicate very well through just pictures.
There's that.
Yeah, true.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people say that if we ever do actually find extraterrestrial life and we want to interact with them, it's going to have to be through chemistry or math, because those are the only things that might possibly be universal.
You can add memes to that list because that's gonna
be to the sun or a star.
I think memes will be added to that list one day.
Everything is different.
They may very well be the communication between us and the aliens, Darnell, but considering some of the memes I've seen, I'm not sure I want that to be the case. I mean, I'm already worried enough about the fact that what we send out into the universe through our TV and movies basically show us is don't go to Earth because they're going to want to dissect you and they'll try to kill you.
Hey man, I got really
all of our alien movies that are being broadcast out into the universe make me really nervous.
Man, I smoked a bunch of weed and somebody popped in fire in the sky, and like I was sitting there in the part. I just got to the part where we woke up on the ship. It was like the worst trip ever. I was like, for the next like 3 or 4 years, whenever I'd smoke weed out in the woods, I'd be like, man, we start getting freaked out and run and get in the car. They're gonna get us. Pot is bad, kids. Stuff makes you makes you scared and paranoid.
Well, see, I get that way sober. So I don't. That's why I don't do drugs. I do this shit sober. Like, man, this is being high. I'm already like this.
It's awful, dude. I don't even know how I did it, bro.
That's what I used to be like when I was younger. Everyone was always wanted to ask me what I was on. I'm like, I'm high on life.
Yeah, I'm just.
And then I got sick and needed all these
man.
None of the drugs. I never did any drugs before I got sick.
I'm just a weird fucking dude, man. Come on.
And we love you for it.
I did all the drugs.
But this episode came out in 1991, September 28th of 1991. And I didn't realize who the actor was who played, let's see, the other captain.
Yeah.
Did you guys recognize him? I mean, with the prosthetics.
Not at first.
I saw the name. Yeah. It was
not at first. Yeah.
Paul Winfield.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was in Mars Attacks, a whole bunch of movies. He was a voice actor in a lot of animated series that we all know and love. Lots of Ten Commandments cartoons. Batman. But yeah, he was a big time 90s actor. I did not put the two together until today. So Captain Dathan. So let me get my handy dandy slideshow. See Diesel? I'm doing it already. My handy dandy. It's contagious. It's
I don't say that. Handy dandy.
No, it's the accent. The accent.
Twang, man. It just makes everybody slower and dumber.
No, you have an effect on people. Just focus on that. And we still ask you.
Kind of like it's like a tumor.
It's not a tumor. So a little bit of trivia. The Tanagra Observatory is an internet-based network of telescopes sharing information on stellar phenomena. It took its name from this episode. The Tanagra project links observatories located in Arizona, USA, Perth, West Australia, and Oslo, Norway. Did you know that?
That's really cool. I did not know that.
Well, hey, man, like this stuff. Well, we had one of the prototype space shuttles was Enterprise. So they had that.
Well, we've had that since the ship.
What?
We had the USS Enterprise, and then we had all the Star Trek stuff, and then the Enterprise became a special designation. There's almost always a USS Enterprise in one way or another in the U.S. fleet.
Yeah. I
Does
saw that
Jen-
thing too. Like at the you remember Darnell World's Fair in New Orleans? They had the Enterprise there.
Yeah,
That was the
yes,
one
yeah.
that they used. They piggybacked that one on 747s or whatever, and let it. And when they were trying to figure out how it was going to re-enter, that's the one they did.
Did it work? Did it work? Did it work?
There's a Star Trek board game. No,
Okay.
I don't have it, and I want it now.
No, I didn't know.
Though there is a Star Trek version of Settlers of Catan. I've played that, and that's really fun.
Well, Jerry, thank you so much. I'm gonna throw this at you.
Chinchilla.
No reason, just chinchilla. Have you guys seen Dr. Caligari, the '90s one? No one has.
Sorry.
And Adam Knapsinger for 2. Hello, beautiful Moxie, and wonderful crew. Hello, Adam. I hope you are doing well.
Okay, 60 for the resonator, and my grandson wants the sex robot.
Also good, but thank you. Didn't have to, but you did. Let's see. So the goofs, one of them, when the Enterprise fires on the Temerian vessel, the phasers are fired from photon torpedo launch bays, not from the phaser banks on the saucer section. It's admitted to be a post-production mistake in the Star Trek Next Gen companion. Rick Berman said the producers received hundreds of letters.
I bet they did. Man, that was before the internet too, son.
And they corrected the Blu-ray though. That's really cool.
Hand wrote, man. That's like you got to be. It took effort to be autistic back in the day.
You know, you get to be lazy and autistic now. You used to have to put in effort.
Man, I'm telling you, kids, they just got on. They don't know what it was like before, like the internet. They don't know what it's like to try to download a titty for 2 hours on a dial-up. You know?
That is always the first thing that guys talk about when they talk about how bad dial-up was. That is
because it took forever, man. Of course, it's going to be the first. It took for you like one line. It's like 4 hours later. I think I see a nip.
Yep.
All right.
It reminds me back to Scrambled Channel days when you like had the unscrambled, the scrambled porn channel. Like, oh, there was a boob. There was a boob.
There's a boob there, and the other one's over on that side.
Yeah.
You make it work. Channel 32. My brother got in so much trouble so often for sneaking the squiggle channel. Anyway,
we had the scrambled box. I had all my things.
I used to go to the beginning of the movies, and if it said it had nudity in it, let me tell you something. One time it was like nudity, and I was like, oh, what's the name of this? Oh my God, it completely went out of my brain. You're gonna trip out when you see it. I was like, oh, nudity. It was Deliverance. That's I've never heard of this. Let me see. And then I'm watching it, and I was just like, oh,
that's the nudity.
I'm staying away from the TV for a long time.
That's why I liked when Mr. Skin came out, the website. It told you what movies had nudity at what points in the movie. You could like pick the movies you want to watch.
No idea that website existed.
Was that little square?
It's still around, Mr. Skin.
I've never heard of Deliverance, even being in Alabama. Yeah, go figure.
Yeah.
Really?
That was awful.
Okay. So we're starting the episode. Captain's log, stardate 45047.2. The Enterprise is en route or en route to the uninhabited El Adrel system. Its location is near the territory occupied by an enigmatic race known as the Children of Tama. So, apparently the Temerians arrived at El Adrel 4 a couple of weeks ago, and over the past 100 years or so, they've attempted to make contact with Starfleet 7 times in the last 100 years. They seem to be peaceful, non-threatening, but they were reaching out, but they were deemed to be incomprehensible.
Yeah, kind of like
There's not a lot of
me
dialogue.
in my 20s.
Okay. But everything suggests, in the previous account, suggests a peaceful race. And so,
and obviously, like they're inquisitive, just like the Federation and humans. They're trying to go out there and seek other life and other cultures and stuff. So why is it so hard for us to communicate? We want to meet them. They want to meet us. What's the problem? That kind of gets you ready for what's the coming episode.
right. And they have spacecraft. They have space travel capabilities. They have all this advanced technology. So like Picard's like, what's the problem? I think we got this because communication is a matter of patience, imagination. I think we're well adjusted in all of the other species that we've encountered
Mhm.
and overcome issues. Let's see what's up. So,
And it's interesting because if you follow Trek or the Trek lore a lot, I mean, first contact encounters are a big deal to the Federation, and they normally send their
sure.
best people, their most
Which is
patient,
usually
their most-
Enterprise.
yeah, half the time it is the Enterprise.
Yeah.
And the idea that they've sent other people to be first contacts and none of them have been able to make it figure it out or make it work is actually it's a really big statement for them to say.
Yeah.
To say that like 7 times we sent our best and we got nothing.
So this screenshot here, it reminded me back when I first saw it, how I want to say incompetent the Federation is with ship design. Look how fragile the Enterprise is compared to this.
Mm-hmm.
Enterprise is
I mean,
sexy. Fine. It's not
It
a
is.
battleship.
It is. But
Check.
look at the ship design. The tower between the disc and the engineering, that is such a weak point. You can destroy the entire ship with that. These other ships are built like the bird of prey. All these other ships, they look functional. You know what I mean?
The
Does that
thing
make
is,
sense?
though,
Just a lot of the Vulcan ship building stuff also looks somewhat similar to the Federation in the sense that their attitude was, for the most part, they're exploratory, so they don't need to be weapon ships. And when the Federation actually needs to build a weapon ship, like the Defiant, they will build a weapon ship.
I know.
One other
Well-
thing, just real quick, the saucer section of the Galaxy class was designed so that you could have families on board. It was specifically not to be like a warship, and they specifically had it separated. So
No, I get that. It's just
Oh,
like
you're
it's
right.
like it's a weak
Also,
point,
though,
man.
the
yeah,
thing
no,
is, man,
I
it,
get what you're saying.
it doesn't
Absolutely.
really matter in space, depending, because since it's all connected and there's the only trying to put actual physics in Star Trek is kind of hard, but it's like it doesn't matter if it the only way that the ship that would like matter, it seems like mostly if it was an in atmosphere ship, like if it landed on the planet. See, if it's in 0G, that's not really gonna be a factor. I see what you do. It does look flimsy, but you're thinking about it in terms of like, if you picked it up and it was like if you shook it. And
No,
like the thing
no,
would break.
I'm talking about like in battle. Okay, yeah, I get.
Oh,
it.
somebody could like pick. Somebody
Yeah.
could like take out the little
Load a
thing
nacelle.
between
You load a nacelle off. You
yeah.
disable the ship.
Mhm.
Like I get the exploration aspect, but like you'd think it'd make you had families on board. So you might want to make the ship a little more I guess sturdy. You got families living on board.
Beefcake. Tammy with a 5. Thank you, Tammy, for the $5 super chat. I see a TNG binge watch in my near future, maybe DS9 after that. Question though, how did they calculate star dates? Does anyone know offhand?
Star dates are calculated, I believe, going back to normally when they say the star date, it's based off of our 0 point and on Earth, but in the lore they explain it that it's connected somewhat to when we first met with the Vulcans, I believe.
Okay,
Don't
something
quote
to
me.
look into. Something to look into.
Because it's the 24th century, and they say something that would make sense for 24th century, but it's also somehow connected to like when we first had warp drive, and therefore came to the attention of the Vulcans, not necessarily from when we first created the Federation. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And this Tammy is my nerdy friend from LawTube. This body cam footage is for you.
Oh God, there is a turbo. Oh God, there is a turbo. Oh,
Multiple gerbils.
gerbils in his pants.
Multiple gerbils recovered.
Our suspect has multiple gerbils in his pants.
God, I have PTSD for shit like that.
Oh no! Get on the ground, Mr. Pancake. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I'm talking about from
Are
experience.
you're not Mr. Pancake, are you?
No.
No, he's the cop that had to deal with these lunatics.
Yeah.
Don't die. I know, Tammy.
That
me
would have
too.
been it. I'd have been like tapping out. I'm out. Holla.
No, I know people are saying like the ship
Yeah,
is good looking. On, I agree, it looks good. I've always felt like, man, it's such a flimsy design. for an exploration ship who is constantly in battle with people, and you have families on board.
Well, taking families on
Well,
board.
and actually, in a way, you're right. Technically, the Galaxy class was supposed to be able to separate the saucer section so that like families and non-critical things could be kept out of the battle. But we've only done saucer separation like 3 times ever.
3 times, yeah.
So
Exactly,
you're
Jake.
right.
That's exactly,
You're
Jake.
absolutely right. They claim to have a reason that works to make that not a big issue, but then they never use it. So once again, you're back to being right.
Yeah, man, you're right. Like functional stuff, but like,
But yeah, no, and most of the other races, especially races that are known for warfare and conquering, they have much more solid, direct, maybe not as elegant or as pretty, but
I mean, how many times?
Bird of Prey is bad.
How many times was the Enterprise destroyed?
well, they're onto the Enterprise G. So
G?
6.
We're on G now?
Okay,
Well,
if
the
you had
OG
built-
was Search for Spock.
if
The
you had
original.
built it a little more, I guess, functional, you may not have had gone through 6 ships.
Well,
I'm
the
being
first
logical. I'm
time
sorry.
it happened, man, was to kill a bunch of Klingons who murdered his son, and we're going to take them all prisoner and probably kill them and
Yeah.
rape them, and in that
Well,
order,
we-
or not.
Something. So in this story, though, they're meeting a peaceful alien race to try to engage with them and I guess check out their intentions and just try to communicate with them since they have been unable to do so over the last 100 years, well, a handful of times. And the Tamarians, is it Tamarians or Tamarians? The Tamarians
I honestly
had
don't know.
chosen, they had chosen this planet, around this planet, and we find out later why. But it was specifically chosen to rendezvous with the Enterprise there.
Yeah, they took their ship to Eladrel and then they sent out beacons, like basically inviting Federation to come to them.
I've heard it both ways. Tamarian, potato, potato. But we first see them and they're so happy. At least the captain seems very happy, very friendly. But they're saying a lot of words that sound familiar, but in a total jumbled up order.
Mm-hmm.
And Rai and Jiri at Lunga. Jiri of Ubaya. Everyone's like, what? Wait, what? Ubaya of Crossroads of Lunga. It's obviously a welcoming, a pleasant welcoming, and everyone's very confused because it's like when you listen to another language that you don't understand, but there's like some English scattered in. It's like, wait a second, like Spanglish or the likes. It's like, wait, I'm picking up something, but no, not at all.
Pig Latin.
Untranslatable species.
It's also kind of interesting because once you've gone through the whole episode and you understand what's going on, you can sit there and go, oh, so Umbaya of the Crossroads. So Umbaya was a city or was a place where people were very welcome, and it was some place where, it's interesting that you can, once you know how their language works, you can start to kind of figure out exactly what they were saying, where the metaphors come from.
Even if you don't understand the context or the things you're talking about, you get kind of a gist of what was a person, what was a place, and like
instead of
the vibe of
luring
the
them
interaction.
down to a planet and then trying to sacrifice yourself so you can make. Can you just draw a picture of like 2 stick people smiling and shaking hands or something?
We could have gone into like a speech therapy safe room and different colors and just like blocks and like, the animals. And
the idea
toys.
was,
I was just thinking you like point at you
years, they
and
hadn't
then
been
point at a
able
stick
to figure
figure
it out. And
then
so
point at
they
the
went.
other
He literally went back to his history, his people's history. What was an experience that was similar? How did people come together at other times when they couldn't? And here's one. So I'm going to recreate it. I mean, it seems kind of out there, but not really. If you really sit down and think about how people do such things, how they deal with situations that have been inconceivable in the past.
Inconceivable.
They're doing their best. Nothing but good intentions. And then we see this exchange between the captain and his first officer, and they're having kind of what seems to be an argument or disagreement about.
I think the first officer agrees with you guys. Like, no, let's just draw a picture. You don't have to do this.
Yeah,
This is excessive.
Saying, man, give me a.
Well, the first officer said it, like, Well, I mean, think about how often they tell Picard, you can't go do something because you're the captain, so the first officer has to do it, or similar situations. And your first officer's number one job is to keep you alive and in charge of the ship. So this idea is like, no, I really don't want you to go down there. Can I go down there? Like, I know what you want to do. Let me do it for you. No, because you don't believe in this, so I'm going to be the one to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was one of those exchanges where you like words were not required to understand what was happening. But
And
they saw it on the view screen.
It's really funny also because it does seem like almost everyone else on that ship, it's like, we don't need to know these people. It's not that important. Let's just go home.
The River Tamar.
Which
But he
actually,
lands
to
on
me,
Darmok and Jalad.
that would be like the Rubicon.
Mm.
In English, we would say that something that once you do it, it can never be undone, but is an important point. Is like crossing the Rubicon.
Yeah.
And we know that because we know about Rome and we know the connotation. But so the river, I'm like, yeah, that's a Rubicon, all right.
No, we're going full Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra.
Yes.
Display. And then all of a sudden the captains are gone. They're transported to the surface, but there's interference. So they can't beam people out. Their communication's broken. There's no way to communicate. And it goes both.
And if they try to move in, the Tamarian ship blocks them.
And they're ready to be aggressive, but they're not so far.
They don't want to. Yeah.
Right. That's not the point. They're like, they're down there. They're going to do a thing. They're going to work it out. We're just here on standby. Don't interfere. So yeah, both the captains are transported down.
I had a crush on Troy.
Well, and Troy's always interesting because when she can tell what people's intents are, and then they do something opposite of what they're obviously feeling, she gets very, very disturbed. She's like, they weren't aggressive. They don't want to hurt us. Like, why did they take the captain and they won't let us talk to him if they're obviously don't want to hurt us? Like, she gets very upset and confused.
Well, the last thing we saw was the captain with the knives, right? Displaying them on the view screen, and then they're both gone. It's like, wait.
It seems like the most inefficient way to, like, communicate with people. To me, I know they're doing the thing where, it's the species and you got, with the metaphors and all that, but it just seems very inefficient. And plus, every time you go down there and meet somebody, you got to send your captain and to this, like, the predator is down there, and it's like,
no, that's not what happens at all. That's the whole point. This was the first time they finally tried something like this to go past all of the we can't talk to each other bullshit.
Right. We don't know exactly the methods that they tried before, and now they're like, okay,
we've never done this before.
We need to try something drastic.
It's the Rubicon. This is we've tried everything else. The only way forward is something drastic, and this was his choice in his drastic options.
I bet they never did anything like this before. Drawing stick people, smiling and shaking hands.
Diesel, you seem like you're related to some people that hunt and go fishing. No stereotyping here, but
hey.
But I know family members that go hunting and fishing. This to me translated like, I'm gonna take that boy on a hunting trip.
Gonna teach you what real life's like.
Fishing, we're gonna do that male bonding thing that I hear about, when you go on the hunt and
get up at 5 a.m. and sit on the freezing ass cold and wait for an animal that I'm gonna shoot, and then I'm gonna drag it back when I could have just went to the store and bought some burgers.
Missing the point, missing the experience. So no one can communicate with their captains. I'm trying. I'm doing my best. So they can't communicate with their captain. And so they're trying to figure out what could they possibly be doing, right? So Worf's like a contest between champions and like the victor and all the things. Because
everyone thinks of something from their own culture.
Oh, Worf's always wanting to fight. He wants to blow some shit, man. That dude just wants to. Captain, I think we should just go over there and beat the hell out of the entire ship, and give me that sword. Give me that slicey sword thingy that I've got. Like, cut them all up.
And even Picard first, because of the knives, like even he thinks maybe this is supposed to be a competition of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
So those thumbs. The other thing, uncircumcised penises.
Mom's his,
Go back.
oh no.
The whole
I didn't
time,
even
like,
notice.
oh my
I
god,
know, what
I
you
didn't
got on
notice.
your brain, man? I was looking at his like
I'm a
repugnant
weird
nose.
fucking dude. I
Looked
told
like
you.
a
What?
Red Skull.
No. That's unnecessary. You ruined it.
I'm sorry.
I didn't even see him till now, man. But I just know that like neither one of them knows how to hold a knife in a fight. I was
Hey.
like, you know, both gonna get.
If
Because
I
it's not
see
a
it-
fight.
I know,
if
but they
I
were
see it-
fighting the thing. They were like
Mhm.
both of them were holding the knife. Like I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
So-
I'd be. I don't know, man. I'd start going feral or something.
Sorry, if I see it, I gotta bring all him with me.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Captain
cool.
Dathon. I've got him here. He's got little knife that
His
comes
dick
out and
fingers.
everything.
Ooh,
That's
that's
so
a,
cool.
that's some
You know,
Kenner
let me
stuff from
see.
the 90s, isn't it?
He got something in his fingers. Oh, you can't tell.
Is that dude?
They're exactly like this dude. Man.
You just ruined one of her favorite.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I see it.
Darmok is some wiener's bear.
At Tanaka, or whatever it is. And we got the Minovsky particles in here, so we can't transport them out.
So
Nobody
they land on the
gets
planet.
that. Nobody gets that but me. That's fine. One of these days, somebody will understand. Leon, I think Leon might get it if he saw this.
So he's super smiley, super happy about this experience that he's sharing with Captain Picard on this planet surface because he's beaming, right? This is gonna be great. Here, toss you a knife. Picard picks it up. He's like, "No, I'm not gonna."
He's
fight
like, I'm not going to
you."
fight you. And he's
You know, at least they got better uniforms than those unitards they had in season 1. That jacket's actually pretty cool. Except they didn't
Kick-ass
change
jacket.
Troy's. They just gave her a body stock in the entire time. I wonder why.
I'm not complaining.
I know.
Dartnell enjoyed it,
Boobies.
but he's like, "Fine, huh? Whatever. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna camp out."
No, and this is I'll show you the part coming up here that makes me the most angry. The part that like it frustrated me more than anything. And when we get to it, I'll show you.
It is not the dad from Family Members. It's the guy that was in Mars Attacks. That's the one I recognized him right off the bat from. Once I figured out who he was. So, meanwhile, the two ships are communicating back and forth. They're attempting to, going, "You're holding our captain. This isn't cool. Like, stop it." But first officer on the other ship is speaking in these weird phrases, and they're not getting anywhere. But apparently, first officer has his orders, and he's sticking by him, and he's coming off a little bit like a dick because that's all they can infer from his body posturing and his body language.
It's very obvious that he's not happy about the situation that's going on either.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
should have
sure.
just went. No, you just convey happiness,
Also, the
man,
fact
and
that
all that kind of stuff,
Also,
man. You
the
don't.
fact that the first officer of the Tamarians is not happy and is not obviously not happy about the situation, but also doesn't really want to talk to them because he didn't want to be a part of this to begin with, and he can't understand them on top of that. And he has to know that they're getting frustrated and upset because they just stole their captain. It's like, you're going to be mad at me. Can't understand you anyway. I'm not going to listen to what you have to say.
Yeah, and he just cuts communication, right? It's like,
He's
no,
just like,
I'm
"We're
not
done."
doing this.
I think that's the second time that they cut communication.
So we go back and forth between what's happening on the planet surface and then what's happening with the crew up in orbit. So now it's nighttime, and the other captain has got a fire going. He's all comfortable, just kind of watching Picard because Picard's not too far away, and he's trying to make his own fire, and he's not being very successful.
This is the part that makes me that frustrated me more than anything. He got a spark and he got it smoking, and he just walks away. I was like, "What the hell are you doing? You got to take you an hour to do that again. Then you got to sit there and turn it." You almost had it, but then he's like, "Rah, rah," you know. I'm just like, dude, it wouldn't have taken that much to like get another spark going. That was frustrating. Like, you just gonna
What were you
leave
gonna
it?
say, Tiny?
I thought that.
I was going to say, like, unfortunately, the Academy doesn't really train camping skills anymore, so
don't really need him.
He had a small flame going though. He had a small flame.
He
going.
had a small flame, man, and then he gave up, man. I'm like,
I mean, if he had his phaser, he could just heat up a rock, and then he wouldn't have to worry about any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't planning on this trip. It was
No.
a surprise.
I mean,
Why
and
you
yeah,
always
and
have a backup?
I remember actually the first time I saw it being frustrated because he did get the flame going up, and I just assumed they didn't want to reshoot the scene. They just let him like give up on it, like, oh, this is too hard. But he did actually. I do actually. They should have reshot that scene.
They should have reshot it, but it did give him an opportunity to choose to try to talk again. You know, so
yeah,
that's Picard.
And I do like watching the other captain laugh at Picard not being able to start a fire.
Spoken.
It really showed you how reliant on technology the Federation is.
Yep. It totally reminds you how much every piece of what they deal with is so taken care of by technology that they don't even take the time to learn. Like, why would they need to?
Yep.
Despite the fact that this is a man who keeps his own saddle on his fucking ship.
It's odd to hear all these accents come together and talk nerd stuff, but good. No.
what are you implying,
Nerd
sir?
stuff is universal. It doesn't matter where you come from. You can enjoy it.
Yep.
Still wasn't quite sure what the significance of these things were outside of a ceremonial type of thing.
I was trying to remember when I was rewatching it, like, what is he doing? And then
Picard picks them up later, but in this scene, the other captain, he lays them out on different stones.
For some reason, I thought it formed like a perimeter for him, but I mean that was
what I was thinking.
What I was thinking. Like it was like
I believe it was some type of technology.
Like sensors.
I think it's his part of his uniform.
Yeah, but he can take it off and he could put it around him because I think it was some type of sensor type thing. It's a perimeter type thing.
That's what I
part
thought.
of your uniform that can always be used in some way.
That's what I was thinking.
But they do that species, they do perform kind of like ritualistic.
They have a lot of
things
do a lot of ritualistic stuff.
Touching, yeah. I wasn't quite sure.
And I think in some ways that goes along with the metaphorical language in a sense that you could say something and it's whatever, you say the exact same thing, but you do it with a hand gesture or movement makes it much more serious or intense or funny or whatever. I think the
he even has a little flaming branch.
That's a big fire.
Does he look so happy?
He does.
He's so happy.
Yeah, too bad he's gonna die.
Aw, good boomer the raid. Thank you, B-Man.
Yeah, I mean, you have a dick for a thumb, you'd be happy too.
Oh no. Hey, Leon.
I've got 3.
Oh man. Okay, so we go back and forth again to the ships. And then ultimately what they decide, since they can't get the transporters to work, they're going to use a shuttlecraft to get down there, fetch him, get the hell out of there. Because without contact, you don't know if the captain's okay. And again, as you mentioned, Tiny,
they can see vital signs. They can monitor vital signs, but that's the most information they can get from the surface.
We got Camelot 331 in the house.
There's a fellow Bamian.
Fellow Alabamian.
Yeah, he and I have the same accent. That's why the first time I heard that dude, I was like, yeah, he's from Alabama.
Gotta get on it, doggone it.
Yep. Yes, sir.
You know, I went to my first NASCAR style race, Diesel. Do you participate in NASCAR? And
no, I did a lot of driving fast when I was younger.
From the cop.
Yeah, I actually did try to outrun the cops one time, man.
You told me this.
Oh yeah, I did tell you that story, didn't I? I think I was so drunk I heard like the Dukes of Hazzard banjo music in my head, and I was just, and all of a sudden, like the sane part of my brain like strangled the retarded part and said, "What the fuck are you doing? Pull over, you idiot!" And so I pulled over. And it was so I was so
Hazard
busted,
is strong within this one.
I went past that cop in a 35, going about 70. And then I sped up to about 90, and then I was just like, what am I doing?
Welcome to all the newcomers. This is DARMOK, Season 5, Episode 2 of Next Generation. Believe it or not. So Worf, and
We are actually talking about an episode. We promise.
we are
Hey,
I'm
despite my
sorry.
distraction.
side
No, it's
quest.
fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Umlaut. So everything seems to be fine. Nothing's interfering with the systems on this shuttlecraft. But then the Tamarians do something naughty, and they go zap you, shuttlecraft. But they're very precise in how they fired upon the
they
shuttlecraft.
disable it. They don't do any damage to it.
Right.
They're
I call
obviously they're trying very, very hard to not actually start a conflict.
This is the perfect fucking picture screenshot right here. you could take it one of a few ways. Like him and Troy just had a little, ready room romp. She told him nice shooting, whatever. No, but I find it. I thought it was hilarious how the bridge crew were like, "Damn, they're precise." They were all like kind of like shocked.
They were impressed with it. They were impressed with their technology, and also it's always a sign of superior technology or training when you can do something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I liked how it's like they were like, "Damn, cool."
Yeah, and it's like, okay, these people, we can't understand them, but they obviously really they have their starships. They have the technology. They're good with their technology. This is not people. This is not people we want to get in a conflict with, and B, these are people worthy of our respect, even if we feel like they speak gibberish.
Mm-hmm.
There's intelligence there.
It's like handing a bunch of Native Americans a spaceship and being like,
they already know what to do with it.
Unlike
fire to get the fire water and go to the, I don't know what they want to call like the warp drive or something. I was trying to think of something really racist and funny, but like I'm
it has to be funny if it's going to be racist.
Late, and I'm not that clever.
You okay there, Darnell?
I can't. Darnell gets me,
and
man.
half the time when he really starts going,
man.
You're convinced he's not going to be breathing very long.
Hang in there, buddy. We got Master Swag King comments in manga for 2. Tiny looks like a librarian. Am I right?
I'm not even wearing my glasses tonight. Why do people keep saying I look like a librarian?
No, you don't look like a librarian tonight.
I mean, when I'm wearing my glasses, I can almost understand it, but
I think you look more like Janine from Ghostbusters than a librarian, but
also wears glasses.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying when you put on the glasses, I'm just like, it's Melnitz answering the Ghostbusters. What do you want?
Back on the planet. Oh man, thank you to all 98 of you across platforms still watching. Going on this journey with us today. Yeah. So he's gone over to the other campsite that's like what 20 meters away or something. It's not very far.
Yeah.
Oh, I thank you, Kama. He just defended me from MSK.
Librarians are less adorable. Oh.
Indeed.
Boy, Jerry.
Oh, and this one I actually really thought was interesting because when they try to get the computer to run a trace on what the word could mean at all, and it goes through and it says a mythological character from, and I'm just like, that's the one. But of course they don't know, and it's just
they don't know because there's 47 other references in their database of that character, Darmok. Name of the 7th Dynasty Emperor, also a frozen dessert on Rasna 5. And they're like, oh, crap. I've encountered 1,007
moons.
Yeah, could be anybody's ass. Like,
I felt kind of upset that she gave up. There's 47, so she was like, too many.
Like, yeah, I know, right? Like, I can't be bothered to do that many when my captain's life is on. I could do 40, but 47? You get out of here with it.
Yeah, I was like, you gave up too quickly on that. I've seen episodes where you're like, there's 300? Oh, no problem. We'll figure it out.
Ever.
Hey, I'm curious what you think, because Emperor Goodwin says no one has been able to translate their language in 100 years of encounters. 7 times they've encountered them, and then they said, we can't do it. Why wasn't there a team of people that would extract and continue the research team?
That would actually make more sense. Yeah.
Maybe they felt...
I mean, it wouldn't be the Daystrom Institute.
They're like, nope.
Everybody on these ships was all like me. They just got mad and gave up. Oh, fuck.
Maybe I thought that too. I was watching. Maybe that they thought, it was so like this. It was so disastrous. The 6 times they met or 7 times they met that like continuing would just make it worse.
That's
They just
possible.
kind of
But
pulled back.
it's hard for me to believe that you have like so many other great institutes and so many other fields of exploration and investigation in the Federation that this culture that is obviously just as advanced as us, we can't figure out.
Well, look at how they design their ships. That should tell you a lot about the
Oh
Federation.
no, we're going back to the
You're
ship
gonna find a way to
design.
bring that back
Oh
again.
god.
I'll
Hey,
always
the
come bring
Enterprise
Gunner.
No,
refit
yeah,
is
it's
peak,
it's.
man.
I mean, think about Picard's old professor. Where he almost
Yeah.
became a xenoarchaeologist instead of becoming a starship captain or a starship
Mhm.
officer. And they study other cultures. They study the history of other cultures and other species. So the idea that there wasn't some type of group that was their region of like research or expertise, it is kind of hard to believe that wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
A whole wing of Starfleet dedicated to linguistics.
Well, I mean, they
Yeah.
don't actually worry about linguistics much because the universal translator is so good, and it's gotten better ever since it was created by Sato, right? Yeah, Lieutenant Sato, I think, created.
But with
Yeah.
the more alien races that they encounter, do you think that they want to, okay, we're going to start working on this one to make sure we can incorporate into our translator capabilities.
You know,
So it's just
Sorry.
kind of like,
And then there's the insect. There's the insectoid race that sees us
Oh.
as like barely advanced enough to interact with, and our language is considered of like a virus.
but you know, Star Trek could have gotten a lot from
embarrassing.
Star Wars and Ryan Johnson having 3PO know how to translate something but not be able to because it's programming. He really could have taken a piece from that book. I'm taking a dig at Star Wars.
I know.
That's a shit fucking
I
movie.
would have just made a
Ryan
flip
Johnson doing
book,
Star
man.
Wars was awful.
Made a
for
flip
that,
book with
guys.
stick figures and walking up to each other and and
that's
smiling.
the idea. That's why. That's why,
The-
Diesel. It was
with the
supposed
dick
to
thumb.
fail. It wasn't supposed to be productive. It was funded by USAID.
Oh, okay. So they funnel all the money
a
from
money
the
laundering
Federation and they
scheme.
send it to the
Yes.
they send it to
said
the
that they had a
Gorn.
wing.
That explains it.
They had a wing
Gorn for
dedicated to
trans-
understanding
Send it to the
the
Gorn
Tamarians.
and then they're like stock holding it. That's where they like their offshore account is on that Gorn planet with them lizard people.
Yeah, but yeah, the lizard
Surgery
people,
for
they were
sexual
funneling the
surgeries?
money that was intended to fund the research here to the lizard people.
For a
back
Gorn
to
themed
Gavin Newsom
Sesame
in
Street
California.
episode show. Gorn themed Sesame Street.
Okay, so then they choose to ask the computer about Tanagra. Like, this scene was a little frustrating for me. That it was such a slow conversation to do some basic searches and then cross-reference. But I understand what they were doing, and it's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Didn't make
this
me-
should have been Data literally does it like semi instantly himself and might ask a question or two of Troy. But yeah, this was, we have to fill the time and we have to get the exposition out without actually having exposition.
Oh my gosh, we're coming up on an hour. Okay, so they search for Tanagra. And then they go, wait a second, there sounds like something we heard in the references for the first search term. So then, oh, DARMOK must be the name of the mytho-historical hunter. And then we're back on the planet. He sees that there's this like notebook or notepad.
You thinking
Yeah,
what
the
I'm
captain.
thinking, dude?
Yeah,
Beavis and Butthead.
he shit on the ground.
Yeah.
The captain's
Captain's log.
Oh, Jesus. Man.
Where?
We're dudes. Like we're stupid, simple retards, man. This is the
There
kind
are
of
levels.
dumb stuff.
There are levels.
One of my cousins was one of the artists on Beavis and Butthead.
We're dudes in the South, dude. Man,
I'm
come
telling
on. I
you, man, he
mean,
said a captain's log and he's looking at the ground. I just thought he was like as a turd, man.
same.
On the same thing. I saw your face as soon as you read it. I was like, darn it, I'm thinking the same thing.
Maybe he had band-aids on his thumbs or something. But going back to the figurine, it's like that was a choice. That was somebody's vision.
Yep.
You know what we need? This guy needs dicks
Shaka,
on his feet.
Temba.
He needs dicks on his fingers.
Take the knife.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, like in a lot of ways, partially as whenever I get mad at something like this, like my mom's always constantly telling me, it's like, yes, but then the show wouldn't happen or the movie wouldn't happen. But Picard was a little bit more obtuse in this episode, especially this particular scene, than I would have liked or than what he is in many other episodes.
B man.
But I do understand if he didn't misunderstand the other captain's intentions, you wouldn't really have much of an episode.
Right.
Sure. I mean, kind of like most shows or sitcoms in the 90s, if they had a cell phone, there would be no show.
Yeah.
If they had access to information, communication, there would be no Seinfeld. There would have been hardly any Friends episodes. There's been a whole lot of things. Or
Yeah. But I mean, it's like he
Raziel.
didn't try. He tried to give you.
Joy Reid looking rough after unemployment.
You ain't kidding, bro.
Yeah, she's fired finally. It took way too long. But the fact that the Temerian captain gave him the knife but didn't try to fight him, set his own fire pit up, didn't interact, didn't like do anything. Like now that he's running at you and he's trying to give you a knife, like still thinking that he wants to fight you doesn't really make sense. Like,
Well, okay, another thing on the note of the campsite, he was not being any sort of intimidating. He also turned over, had his back facing Picard. He rolled over.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
obviously
Like,
vulnerable.
I don't think of you as a threat. I'm not worried. I'm going to bed.
How did Picard miss all that?
I know, man. I think everybody's a threat, man. I'm always looking. Never can tell.
I think part of it is the idea that Picard was grabbed without warning and stuff, and he doesn't understand what's going on, so he's going by the worst possible option. So
Yeah, but like, he's seen situations similar.
Yeah, he's supposed to be smarter than this.
Yeah.
Then they try to infer that this is another Gorn episode, so Picard refuses the knife. You know, I saw Jason Sandberg. He made a comment on my Twitter post that said that it was an episode that makes him laugh and it reminds him of the Gorn episode. And I'm like, I didn't get that at all. That wasn't my take. But
it's shot in the exact same part of California, like those same rock areas. That's
Santa Clarita.
It's the I believe it's actually the exact same area that the Gorn episode was shot 30 years
subconsciously, man. And I didn't even see any of that. It just brought it into my brain.
There's a lot of
Shatner and the worst coordinated fight scene
that
ever.
were used. There's a lot of California outcroppings that were used in both original series and Next Generation. And every once in a while, like you can pull them up, and it's shot for shot. You can see the background is the same place.
Red Rock Canyon on the way to Ridgecrest. Also outside of Santa Clarita, they have the angular rock formations that are very classic Star Trek. Also, it's very close to LA, so they do a lot of shoots in Santa Clarita. So we move on to this part where he's like, "Just take the knife."
Yeah,
and there's a reason.
Yeah,
you hear growling, and the rocks start to fall down off the top of the hillside there, and his arms wide, like, take the knife. And so
the fact that he still didn't take it at that point, hearing the growling, I was like,
that really was just too much.
Dude, man, I mean, golly, if somebody hands you a knife, you're like, okay, cool. We're not gonna be blood brothers. I'm not cutting myself, but like when some stuff goes down, man, we're gonna sharpen some sticks
now. Okay, so the electromagnetic disturbance that they're reading is whatever creature that is on the planet.
Predator.
That's growling. Yeah, it's the Star Trek Predator.
Yeah. It's like it's Star Trek's Timu Predator before Timu existed.
Predator. Sorry,
man. Look, I'm just.
Your laugh is so great.
Evil Predator. His invisibility failed all the time. Like son of a bitch.
He's like son of a bitch.
That's why
man.
he's glitching in and out.
He's like all blocky. Hey man, they couldn't even afford good dreadlocks for this guy.
His self-destruct doesn't work. It makes him shit himself.
Yeah.
That's not a knife. And then we see the monster phase in and out very briefly. Shaka, when the walls fell. It's like, okay, you keep saying those words. Why? Oh yeah, Red Letter Media has the costume for the monster in this episode. I do love the Red Letter Media.
This is a former Alias cameo right here.
Ashley Judd.
Yep.
Wait, is that Ashley Judd?
Yep.
Yeah, she was a big part of the game. We covered the game in our. I think that was our last.
Oh, okay.
Crawled through.
Yep.
Yeah. So they're trying to figure out how to amplify the capabilities of the transporter, right?
Yeah.
Beyond what should be allowable. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to how to figure out how to get through the layer that was being the scrambling.
Yeah.
And she's a super genius, so of course she's on the job.
Yeah, man, totally removed from real life.
So
rock, paper, scissors.
Rochambeau, is that
rock, paper, scissors, Spock, lizard? Is it lizard Spock? Is it? I don't know.
Have you ever had to interact with somebody who didn't speak any sort of your language and you had to like get something done? Darnell,
Hell
you have
yeah!
experience?
Every time I go to Home Depot, they're everywhere. Man.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, we had a teacher who would come by every Wednesday when I was in grade school. He'd come and speak only in Cajun French and refuse to speak English to you.
Oh, so he was like the dude from Waterboy?
Yeah, but like
You'd like to see homeboys naked? That guy?
That guy. No, he would. It was Cajun French immersion. You had to for 1 hour. He would not speak English. You had to try and have a conversation with him.
Oh wow.
Oh, the fun.
And congratulations again.
Memberships. And thank you to all 117 of you across platforms for being here with us this evening.
Absolutely.
It's kind of the last stop for the evening on a Sunday night. And so glad that you chose to spend it here with us. And there's a lot, so many clips, too many clips. But there was a voicemail that was leaked recently.
Hi, Moxie. Badger here. Sorry to have missed you. I just wanted to say, first, you're pretty, and second, how grateful I am to be done with the original Star Wars streams. That tank top wearing douche was getting on my nerves, not even able to tell one bounty hunter from another. And then you got that twitchy, smoke-blowing chimney Leon over there with his bad takes. The audacity for any of these assholes to act like they know half as much as I do about the EU. And then what the hell is up with Gooch these days? Him going on other people's streams, sure, they're Cabal adjacent, but definitely not keeping it all in the Cabal. This year's airing of grievances is going to be straight up fire. Okay, I've been jonesing to rewatch Twilight, and it's calling my name. Bye!
Totally real, not AI. Voicemails were leaked.
But in the name of myself.
I'm gonna what?
Exactly.
Okay, you do you, baby. Okay, so
I dealt with
Picard
that
is
with
getting
people
it.
from West Texas. When I lived in Texas and I met a couple people from West Texas, I could not understand a word they said.
But okay, so this example, no, I know it's on screen, but we speak in phrases a lot. I think as Americans more than other cultures. Most I would say like German, maybe not the English, but more like German, Asian languages. They're very direct in what they mean most of the time. We use phrases like "gotta hitch my get along"
We use a
or
lot
like
of colloquialism.
yeah, the colloquialisms. Yes, that's the word. Thank
also,
you.
like German.
So it would be hard that is a hurdle for non-English speakers coming over because we have incorporated so much of that in our day-to-day language.
Because of that, English is one of the hardest languages in the world to learn. Because of that, we have like so many uses for the same word.
Like German, Russian, and Klingon all sound like really angry.
Some of the great old ones.
Some of the East Asian languages are a little different than that because a lot of their, especially when it's written, the kanji can mean multiple things.
Yeah,
but the context matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, English is so messed up. We have to take classes.
Other than that, yeah, we are the most complicated to learn, especially if you learn, like if you came to the US and you lived in New York and you learned to speak, and then you went to talk to someone from the South or from certain others. If English wasn't your first language to begin with, and you learned New York or Northeastern colloquialisms, suddenly you're having trouble. You're both speaking English and you can't really understand each other that much. We had a friend when I was young, growing up, who was from Brazil, and my mom's like, "When the alarm goes off, can you turn it off?" And he was looking at her like, "What?" He goes, "When the alarm goes on." He goes, "No, when it goes off." Because that we say going on. It was, and there were just other little things like that that would just be very confusing to them.
I'm sorry.
We had like an
The dog got you, didn't it, Darnell?
Yeah, we had an exchange student, man, from Spain when I was in high school, and he used to say shit like "fuck her mother." He would say stuff like backwards when he would talk. Oh, you'll fuck her mother, because like some of the stuff in Latin is Latin-based languages that kind of like swap stuff around.
Like French too. French is reverse.
They're all the Romance languages. All Romance languages come from Latin originally.
He also had somebody mail him some hash from Spain in the freaking mail, dude.
In the 90s were nuts, dude.
I'm telling, yeah, man.
So Picard's getting it. It's metaphorical. With the phrase that he's saying, he keeps saying the same things to the other captain, Dathan, right? Dathan? Dathan? He's trying to keep it simple for Picard.
Yeah.
He's saying the same things over. And he's like, oh, it's a metaphor. Okay. And then he's like, so God, like, yes, he's getting it. He's so happy.
His eyes open.
It together.
You can finally see.
Yeah.
Yes. But look how happy Picard is. He's like, yay.
I figured it out. Woo!
It's so great with that caption at the bottom.
Violent crackling roar.
Well, joy's over because, Timu Predator shows up.
Good Triceratops.
It gave Triceratops Predator vibes, and I don't know what else they were going for.
Predator.
Yeah.
Well, like
And
a
he starts
plastic
kicking
dinosaur, man, from Power Rangers or something.
Well, if you've seen the prop on a Red Letter Media's channel, it's not that impressive. It's very wrinkly. And so
Worst
mid
possible
battle
moment for them to actually be able to transport him.
This
and kind of
aggravated.
sort of. And only kind of sort of. They couldn't totally bring him up. So he's just there, half phased out of reality, watching the other captain get his ass kicked. So just frozen. The Tamarians' life signs were fluctuating, and they're like, their sensors can read what we can read, so maybe they're going to lift this interference.
Why didn't I'm sorry, I'm gonna interrupt. Go on.
Oh, you're fine. No, that was it. Hello.
Like, why didn't they see like, oh, his life signs are fluctuating? Why didn't they stop trying to pull Picard out? Like their reading saw the thing attacking him.
Well, they saw that something was
They waited
like electrical signal of something else there, and they could see that the other guy's life signs were fluctuating. But they don't care if the other dude dies. They're trying to pull Picard out,
exactly,
no matter what.
F that guy.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm watching like if they would have stopped like a 20 seconds sooner, he could have saved the other captain. And that adds to the aggravation for this episode. Like, so it's so like.
I think part of it was partially to like give Picard a level of guilt to make him even more.
He didn't feel guilty at all. They were always like, "Oh, he died." La 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 la.
Well, no, I mean when he's with the captain and that night, like the scene we're about to go to, where he's trying to take care of him, and he's even more open to trying to understand and really like. You didn't do this to fuck with my life. You did this for a reason, and now I understand it, and I'm sorry, and I really, really want to do whatever I can to understand.
We really got to find more efficient ways to communicate than killing somebody.
No, like I got all of that, but at the same time, I'm sitting there like, he didn't come across as feeling guilty at all. Like, and how Picard started to understand him before the fight began would have been a good segue into like him trying harder that night as well, in my opinion. Like have him fight him off.
I absolutely can see what you're saying. I didn't see it that way when the few times I've watched it, but now that you say that, I can. It makes me want to rewatch the scene we're about to go to one more time just see, because I don't remember him seeing not guilty, but you're right, he never seemed overtly guilty either.
You're talking about Picard coming off guilty? I didn't think that he came off guilty. I think he was like, we're on the cusp of something here. I'm on the cusp of figuring it out. And now I can't help. Like, I think he was like, he had the aha moment and was like, no, don't take me away now. Especially like we're getting somewhere with this.
No, but
later.
Yeah, no, what Darnell said was that they should have shut off the beam faster, realizing that the other captain was in trouble. And
but they still didn't know the intentions of the other captain, like why he had him down there.
I don't know.
Right?
For me, it was just like it gave Picard, even for me personally, when I saw it, he's trapped, unable to help the other captain that he's now realized is actually probably his ally. And so afterwards, the scene we're about to go to that evening, I thought that it seemed to make Picard even more feel a little bit guilty and feel even more need to understand and to connect to this man who's now given his life for something that obviously was important that I didn't understand.
I think they could have done that still strong before the fight. Before the fight, he started to realize, and his happiness, I think that would have been enough. Like they fight the monster off, and then I think he would have been, I guess he would have felt like, oh yes, we can do this, and still would have told the story, knowing that they started to find their connection.
Bonding without the blood.
Right. They could have had the blood of the monster everywhere, and they were good.
Yeah, Picard realized he failed the first chance at the test. Yeah, when the walls fell, we come to learn that means failure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shock it when the walls fell. We failed. And back with these mofos. Then this is Riker that we hear. My options are narrowing. My patience is all but gone. Like, we want them to let our captain go. This is bullshit.
We know that their captain is now injured in some way. Something horrible has happened. And
they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
They're insisting, but they have their orders and they can't communicate to their Enterprise. So then the think tank comes around the conference table to kind of like go over what their efforts are, what they're trying to do. The status of Captain Picard, he's stable. Need to knock out their scattering field with one shot. Obviously peace would be preferred, but Riker's on his last nerve and he wants to do some damage.
And he's got Worf behind him the entire time going, let's just blow them up.
Right.
Do it now.
Yeah, we like Star Trek.
I love Star Trek.
Worf is Emperor Palpatine.
Do it. So Data and Troy have been doing their research and they've been piecing together information about how the Tamarians speak, and they seem to communicate through narrative imagery, metaphors, colloquialisms, as if she were to say Juliet on her balcony, which paints the romantic scene for those of us that are familiar with it. But if you don't have the context, the words don't matter.
And also, even if you have the context, even if you know the story of Romeo and Juliet, the other words and the other things are important too, because you can say Juliet on her balcony. Well, does that mean she's missing love? Like she's thinking, oh, Romeo, or are you thinking Juliet on her balcony after Romeo's left and she's like, oh my God, I'm gonna go kill myself.
This scene also frustrated me too, because he gave him what you have till tomorrow morning, you have till 0900 to come up with a plan. It seems like they came up with the idea plan at night and then waited till 0900 to tell him. Like, why didn't they go tell him right then and there? We figured it out, dude.
Well, that was when the meeting was set.
Yeah, no, it's like
under promise, over deliver.
Under stress and asleep, if you figure out the solution, you go wake his ass up and you take care of it. You don't let him sleep.
Okay, so at worst, you wake him up, so you see smarmy Riker in bed. You're like, yeah, at least we got a good view out of it. We woke him up. I mean, come on, dude. Riker's hot, man. Come on. Oh. Regardless of what you are, Riker's hot.
I was just thinking about vintage Dr. Crusher myself.
Besides, you don't get to see much. We've seen Riker in his PJs before. He wears full-on PJs.
Nighttime, he was asleep. Troy always thinking everything is about emotions. Women, am I right?
Yeah.
Also, thank you all 122
by everybody else's emotions at all times.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Captain, he got his shit wrecked. He's dying, and there's a point where he says, "Face black, eyes red," which basically describes death. That that's what I got out of the first time I watched it. It wasn't like this mysterious expression. It's like, okay, given the context that he's actually dying. Oh, okay, that's what
this is like saying, "This is my end. I'm fucked."
Yes, I have seen that shirt, World Tour shirt. Actually got a sweatshirt for a friend of ours.
Oh, that's really cool.
Nice.
It's pretty cool. It's Picard like shredding on a guitar.
Oh,
It's like a tour.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Picard's trying to understand in the expressions that he's been using. So
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to do the thing that Diesel. Oh no, I'm calling him Riker now. That Diesel is saying
come
to
on.
do. Get simple, right? Get simple. You start using a rock in place of the person's name, or you start drawing in the dirt, that kind of thing. A metaphor for being alone. What's weird too about the language is they use basic words, English as in basic as in English, but it's just jumbled up. So there is some level of understanding the way that didn't mean to me that Picard is explaining it to him using the symbolism, the rock and the drawings, in addition to the words that he may know some of, and to put some context into it to show that he's understanding what the other captain's saying to some degree.
That just reminded me of something. There's a damn it. I don't think it's in the Star Trek wiki. There's a page that has a whole bunch of Star Trek theories and stuff. And one of them is that the Tamarians are also partially empathic. So like when they say stuff, they also have there's an emotional behind it that the other Tamarians can feel the emotion. So it's like if I said Troy on her balcony to anybody, I mean Juliet on her balcony to anybody, there's multiple reasons. But if I say Juliet on her balcony to Troy, and she can tell that I'm feeling romance, or I'm feeling loss, or I'm feeling whatever, it adds context to the words. So if the Tamarians are slightly,
that makes sense.
If the Tamarians are partially empathic, when he's saying,
that would help a ton.
Yeah. And I'd completely forgotten that theory until you were just mentioning, like, how is it that he's understanding what Picard's saying when he explains it all out? It's because he can feel what Picard is saying. So he understands, Picard finally understands what he was trying to communicate.
It definitely helps.
Too bad we couldn't have done this inefficient stuff sooner before I got guided and killed. Did you notice?
Or too bad they didn't freaking. If they
noticed when the
transported
Troy was on
Troy,
top of him, how he never hit him once in the face, like he missed every single time. I was like, I don't know. That's see, my superhero powers. I can.
This whole thing could have been figured out much faster because Troy's empathic.
I don't know. Troy's like, I don't know, man. No.
Okay, so as he lays dying, he says, Kiazi's children, their faces wet, like crying, upset. He knows he's going to die.
Sadness, at the very least.
Yeah, they're sad. Give me more about Darmok on the ocean. Here, I'm explain. Tanagra on the ocean. Darmok and Tanagra. It's like they get there eventually. And so he's trying to figure out, it's a country. No, it's an island. It's an island on the ocean. And there are parallels with that story to what he's trying to accomplish here with Picard. And that there was a beast at Tanagra. So they basically, he was trying to recreate that experience for them to come together, to work together.
Yeah.
So the two individuals arrived separately. They fought the beast. One of them passes after battling together. Actually, no, they left together. And that was what he had hoped would happen for Picard and himself.
Yep. Yeah, he figured since they'd never been able to communicate, there's this story in their history that had brought two people together and found a way to get them to bond and communicate. And so he was trying to recreate it.
Because he knew that their communication didn't mesh up with the Federation. They've tried it before. So he was trying something extreme. Something
and he was so happy about it. Like, I finally came up with an idea that might work. We're finally going to be able to do this. I'm so excited. Like, nobody else seemed excited.
Yeah. It almost seemed like they were forced to make this episode. The cast wasn't happy about it. That's what came across to me.
I mean, he must have convinced somebody in his government that it was a good idea.
Leotard's doing stretches.
I know that episode.
Everyone knows that episode.
Hell yeah, they do.
Those horrible, horrible 80s calisthenics.
Oh yeah, you shut your mouth.
It doesn't matter.
You shut your mouth.
So then Picard's turn to tell a story of camaraderie, friendship, and he tells a story of Gilgamesh, which he's like, you wouldn't understand anyway, but I guess basically you're on your deathbed and you just want to hear a story, hear me talk, even if you don't understand. But if he is also an empath, it would make sense that he gets what Picard's putting down.
Yeah.
So he tells him the story of Gilgamesh the king, defeating Enkidu. They become great friends. They became friends through adversity and hardship, but passes. So he's conveying this through telling the story, and if he's an empath, this is comforting for him in that Picard got it. He got it. He felt it.
Yeah.
And he can go peacefully at this point.
Yeah. And as he says Gilgamesh, like he tries to like repeat the names and understand what he's saying, and yeah, and he does look like he passes relatively happily.
He's like, I did it. I got through. We connected, and then his people will be able to carry on.
He's like, I proved that this is possible. I proved my theory worked.
I'm right.
That's what most people want when they're dying, is to know that they were at least right.
Well, and that they had some impact. Their death had some meaning or value.
And actually, we could say that perhaps the Federation really thought it didn't make any sense to create an organization before this, but now there will be an organization that's entire job is to learn this.
Talk gibberish to these people.
What?
In the most inefficient way ever.
No, they'd be able to create an organization specifically designed to understand that region of space's history so that they can have meaningful conversations.
Diesel and Darnell in the car on the
universal
river.
Translator.
Yeah, the translator would take over if they were to be able to master the references and the history and all of the things surrounding their people. Yeah, but this would definitely be a massive landmark in their interest and their ability,
evolution and interaction with the rest of the space around them.
Mm-hmm. I forgot about that story, Darnell. Richard Simmons grabbed your ass when you were working security. I mean, we can't all have great stories, but
and he winked at me too after.
There you go.
Oh, man, that man, you know something? That man was flamboyantly, flamingly gay.
Yes.
At least you knew where he stood, though, right?
He was a cool dude, though, man. Like I got to hang out with him for a whole day. He was pretty awesome.
He always seemed pretty happy.
Yeah,
he was very, very happy. Very happy, nice
very
guy.
Gay.
Yeah, he was gay on both ways.
He really was a cool dude. Like so I got to spend like 9-10 hours with him. He was a cool guy.
All right, let's see. Okay, so Riker has no choice but to break the stalemate because they're not getting anywhere. The life signs for the other captain, Benito. They're like, he may be dead. Oh no, Picard's gonna loot. I was like making this on my own. Like,
yeah, man, he played RPGs. He's got to loot those corpses.
Yep.
But no, he does a little respectful folding of the arms. Hello, Jesus Rex. Or Jesus Rex. I've heard of both ways. I understand your sacrifice, Captain. Unfortunately, if our friend out there has its way, no one will ever know what you tried to do. Riker's like, Dunzo, fire. The other captain's gone. We got to get Picard out of there. So if we have to take out the other ship to do that, that's what we're going to do.
Though they do try to fire very, very precisely just to get rid of the scattering field, just like the Tamarians had done to their shuttlecraft.
Am I wrong in thinking that was out of character for Riker?
Yes and no. The fact that the other captain is now dead, it's not out of character for Riker to ask for contingency plans that go beyond
right, but to fire on them.
Yeah, but I think once the other captain was confirmed dead, he really felt like he had no other options if he was going to get his captain back before whatever killed the other captain did it.
Right.
I think it was somewhat out of. I think it was out of character for him in general, but it made sense in this scene.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. So it wasn't so much that the other spacecraft had bad intentions, but it's like, no, you're not going to interfere with our rescue mission at this point. We don't care that you don't care about your own. We're going to get ours. So
Yeah, and once
Okay,
again,
fair
it
enough.
was he didn't do it until he'd had them do all of the calculations to make it as precise as possible to hopefully not damage the other ship, but they weren't
Right.
sure.
Good night, Scott Hot.
So
they were able to disable the particle beam emitters and get the scattering field down.
Right before the bad guy shows up. Predator.
Yep. Picard's ready to stab a bitch, but fortunately they grab him and transport him. Yeah, he's still ready. Look at him.
Yeah.
Come here, O'Brien. I've got something for you. I'm going to save you from the torture of that bitch you're going to marry.
Oh.
Oh no, R2 Hamill when the pants fell.
I still don't quite understand how the hell that happened. How do you, if you're not fiddling with anything, how the hell do your pants just fall off while you're standing
He
still?
was so drunk when he
Police
walked
Academy?
out there, man. His pants were barely hanging on, and he just moved a certain way, and then just fell down. Drunk people do some stupid stuff.
I like the Police Academy theory.
Oh yeah.
What's the Police Academy theory?
If you see the first movie, Mahoney hires a hooker to give the commandant like a blowjob while he's getting his feet.
Yeah. They spliced it together, man. One of those Legion of Me madmen spliced it together. It's hilarious.
Oh, sorry.
So the Tamarians, with their advanced technology, are able to take out the Enterprise's shields. They hit them pretty hard. There's like nothing left of the shields.
Yeah, they just wiped us out, and they can't even speak any English.
Yeah, they hit the shields, they hit the engines. They were doing precise blasts and to show that they were not happy, but they didn't blow them out of the sky, even if they may be about to.
Could have done. So Enterprise fires back, but their shields are still holding strong. And here comes Captain Picard, the badass walk in, hail them. I can talk to them now. I can convey enough. So first officer, his face black, his eyes red, which we had heard earlier when the other captain was dying. So we've already gathered he's upset because his captain's dead. He's very upset.
He lost his captain.
Yeah.
That's like the worst thing that's like one of the worst things that can happen to a first officer is to lose your captain.
Unless you want to be the captain.
Oh, dun dun dun!
This isn't a Klingon vessel.
Yeah, different. The river Tamark in winter, Darmok and Jalad on the ocean, and so then first officer is excited that
he's like,
yes, his
was
eyes
right.
are open. He gets it. The captain knew what he was doing. Huzzah!
It wasn't a waste of his life and his
But failure. Yes, confirmed failure. Shaka when the walls fell. So then they all have their little emotional moment, their ceremonial touching of the things and turning around and,
I still hadn't figured out what those guys in the background are doing.
That's the
bridge crew.
engineer.
They're just doing their jobs.
They're not at any kind of station. They're just standing there, not near any equipment.
they're behind them.
They got the screens. They got screens. They would mess with the screens.
Yeah, it's they're now facing the viewer screen, but before you only saw their backs because they were working at their stations.
So then Picard shows
and he offers him the logbook.
Yeah, so Picard brought the logbook back, the handwritten with all the things, and so they transport it back over to him. First officer looks at it, and there's this understanding.
He opens it up, and there's nothing but a bunch of pictures of Picard drew a bunch of wangs in there, man.
Fingers.
I thought that too.
Hey, dumb minds think alike, man.
You guys are so fired. Marab with sails unfurled. To me, intimates, okay, ready the ship.
It's time to go
for
home.
takeoff.
Yeah.
Time to go.
Is Diesel slightly tarded? Probably.
Hemba, take it. Generosity. I'm giving something to you.
Yeah, this was given to me by your captain. I'm returning it to you. And no, you've earned it.
I got goosebumps all down my legs rewatching it today. Like I get
This scene,
the leg goosebumps.
Yes, this scene was done so well.
Yeah.
But why are their thumbs like that? Anyway, we may never know. Maybe I don't want to know. But at rest, you keep it. Powers up. New friends? He's not quite sure, but at least they're not new enemies. That's for certain from what he's gathered from his experience. And then we go back, and this is later on. He gets the damage report from the incident, and then Riker sees that he's reading the Homeric hymns in an effort to understand the metaphors
our own
and roots.
history.
Right.
What part of our history is what myths and legends created us and our way of life, and how much do they still connect to us in some way? Like I mean, as we move forward in history and we have more and more history to look back on, it feels like people look less and less, and that's a bad thing. And this episode was always, to me, it was about, it had a great duality, this episode, which is the search for the unknown, going into the places that we don't know. Even if we can't understand the people that are there, it's worth meeting them. It's worth trying. It's worth that exploration. And yet at the same time, do not lose your history. Know who you are. Know where you came from. Know what your own history is. So it was a really great duality of future and past for me.
Yeah.
That's what I like this episode.
And they punctuate this episode with the need to go back to our roots and understand where we came from. And, all those colloquialisms, a lot of the youth, they don't know where the expressions came from anymore. It's like,
I bet if I even I said the Rubicon, and you guys all got that, but I bet if I said it to a Zoomer, they'd have no idea what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, guaranteed.
Yeah,
hell, most of them don't even know Juliet on her balcony these days.
Oh no.
And most of them, the TikTok videos I've seen, good grief.
I just got goosebumps again just looking at this slide, because the end shot shows him touching his forehead in ceremony of respect to Data. Hello, Doolies. So that was the episode.
This is my favorite. Like, I love Trek. I love almost all Trek, and so this is my favorite episode of Next Generation because of all the things that we've mentioned and talked about. But it's also just, it's so much an embodiment of what Trek was. This idea that technology can give us the chance for a better future, and what we do with it matters, and that there shouldn't be anything that stops us. Just because you can't understand something doesn't mean you can't learn to understand it or figure it out eventually. Just because some people are incomprehensible doesn't mean you can't eventually have some understanding with them. It's so much of the future is bright if you let it be. Just keep moving forward and be as positive type of thing as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, and that was what Roddenberry said he wanted Trek to be. He wanted it to be a vision of the future that could possibly be, and that most of those really great things that the future holds will be brought to us through tech.
Look, man, that's a communicator and a tricorder all in one, man.
Just about.
Lots of things. And what is it? Can't even Grok interpret medical X-rays and reports?
I was gonna say, I'm sure there's an app you
Like-
could get that might even allow you to take a picture or something. And
I'm
see
very
what
happy
it
with
is.
Grok. That's all I know.
You're unhappy with Grok 3.0
Yes.
beta?
Yes. Yeah. Like Elon shares pictures of he made with the Grok of like animals moving. So I went to Grok like, ooh, Grok, make me an animated picture of a sunrise. And it says I can only do static pictures and so like, how the fuck is Elon using this to make this if it tells me it can't do
Because
anything?
he's working with the beta.
All it tells me is
did you ask Grok how to ask Grok how to do the thing?
yes. Can you explain me how to tell? Can you tell me the words I need to get you to give me a picture that's fluid? And
Have you asked
because
Grok?
I cannot do that.
Have you asked Grok how is it that Elon does this thing with you that you say you can't do?
I haven't yet. I got aggravated. I got like, screw this.
That would drive me insane too.
Yeah, I don't
We'll
even
figure it
mess
out.
with any of that stuff,
So-
man.
The knife in this episode, I find was a very well designed prop. It looked real.
Mhm.
You know, you could tell, like, especially like in Star Trek episodes, like the props, like especially the weapon props, you could tell, that's definitely foam. I found the knife prop was really well done, really
I
well
agree with
made.
that.
Like yes, but like the blade looked metal, and it probably was like an aluminum or some other soft malleable metal. It looked good.
Mhm.
Yeah, the prop department did a good job in this one.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
Well,
Any
I
final
always
thoughts on this episode, Tiny?
I'm sorry, what was the
I'm sorry.
question?
I'm just gonna go around do final thoughts on like the
Oh,
episode
okay.
and whatever.
Yeah.
But if you had something else, go for it.
Well, I just wanted to add, like, sometimes it's really funny to watch Trek episodes, especially the original series, and try to guess what they grabbed out of the closet to try to create some prop for that day. Like, every
Like
once in a while,
Star
you're like,
Wars, where the communicator was a lady's razor.
yep. And the original tricorder was actually a salt and pepper shaker.
Mhm.
I mean, sometimes it's just really fun to be like, how did they? Do you think they use tinfoil? No. Maybe they were using something that was like made from cardboard, or like it's just fun.
Right.
I just it sometimes can be really fun to just try to figure out. Okay, that so obviously came out of like somebody's closet. What is it, and what did they do?
Well, if you look at the motion tracker in the original Alien movie, there's an ice cube tray spray painted green glued to the back of it. It's like a box with an ice cube tray stuck on it.
All right,
I
so
appreciate the
final thoughts.
creativity.
Yeah, I've pretty much said everything I can think to say, but to put it all together, just I love this episode. I love Trek. I love positive views of possible positive views of the future.
And what have you got going on? Where are you going to be? How can people find you?
Oh,
Follow
all that
you?
stuff too. Okay. Well, here at the last Sunday of every month, we do this really fun show where we do Star Trek retrospective. Hopefully we'll also be doing some more table reads because everyone does seem to really, really enjoy those, and they're a lot of fun. Every Friday at 9:30 Pacific, you can find me at the Insert Title Here podcast. Every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific, you can find me on Pop Culture Patriots, which is on Horny Alf's channel or Drew the X Standings channel. They kind of flip it each week, but we'll always have something out on X about what channel it's on or how to find it. I'm doing Mr. Burger's very, very late night 11:50 Pacific trivia thing where basically everyone laughs at me because I go like, oh, I love this. I know this song. And then I can never tell you what the name is because I completely blank out. And people seem to really enjoy laughing at me when I do that. So come enjoy laughing at me as I screw up the music of my childhood. Like last night, everything was from 2006. I was sure those songs were from like 2000. I had no clue that they came out after I graduated high school.
Yeah, the last 20 years have been a blur for a lot of people.
Seriously. I'm also just a very fun channel surfer. So if you have a channel and you need a guest, DM me. I like to show up on other people's channels. I will be on Arthur Nix on March 5th, and I will be on Dartmouth March 3rd. So I'm available, trying to get out there and be out there without having to have my own channel. Which I now have even more friends telling me I have to create, so I'll figure it out.
But you do keep your Twitter updated as far as where you're going to be, so it won't be boxes.
My Twitter tends to be pretty updated, and as someone mentioned, I think it was Drew mentioned, I try to give a good night post almost every night, and you get a picture of my cat.
Pussy pics confirmed. Diesel, what are you up to, and do you have any final thoughts?
Oh, that episode was pretty cool. I have nothing going on. Nothing whatsoever.
But if they want to follow you, Dollar Store Cast on Twitter would be the place.
Yeah.
Is that also your name on YouTube, or do you have a YouTube thing going on?
I got a YouTube, but I mean, I don't do anything. I haven't done anything. I don't know. I'm just apathy, and somebody asked me to come on. I'll be glad to come on and hang out, but I'm just.
Hey, to be fair, I said if you want to come on, so you wanted to, you had fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Thank you.
No, it's cool. No, me doing anything on my own, I'm just.
Well,
I lack all the motivation. I'll go and hang out on other people's channel. Although sometimes it's a
You know
stretch
what?
staying up this late, man, with your avocado time.
I know with my avocado time, so we'll try to do something maybe a little earlier, maybe not. I don't know, but we'll do a table read, and you can
No, it's cool as long
dazzle
as
us with your Riker and Worf.
as long as it's not like all the time late. Like I can handle like once a month or whatever staying up late.
It's fine. We'll plan ahead.
No, you don't make any adjustments on my part.
Just for you. No. We do the Star Trek shows once a month. So last Sunday of the month. Next one, maybe we'll do a table read over the coming days. We'll work it out behind the scenes. Darnell. I thought you were raising your hand to speak.
No, I was like, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I know I said in the beginning I hated this episode. That was meant tongue in cheek. I really liked it. It was just very frustrating because all the like almost connections.
Yeah.
I know. I get that was the point. I really like the Next Generation. Yes. The Next Generation is my favorite Star Trek out of everything. In fact, this episode gave me the desire to rewatch the Next Generation movies, which I started watching after. Yeah, I mean, it was really good. Just very frustrating. One of those moments I'm like, it just got,
yeah, I know. Yeah, you're like it. I got frustrated at first, but that's just because I'm.
Did it draw you in? Did you get invested?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, and it did its job.
Yeah, exactly. As for where I'm gonna be, the trivia show has been kind of like indefinitely on hiatus. So I don't really have anything that I'm doing. I have a couple of show ideas I'm bouncing around. But Fridays I will be at insert title here like Tiny at 11 p.m. Central Standard Time on Drunken Emerald Arrows channel. I do Curse of Strahd every other Saturday, which will be this Saturday at Full Metal Nate's channel. I got you. And then I'm on Touch Grass with Theo Snodgrass Saturdays at 1 p.m. Central. I haven't been in a couple weeks, but I'm usually there. Also, I have a music channel, youtube.com/@shamrecords. All AI generated music. I give it the prompts and then I tweak the music to give a final product and some pretty decent songs.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've done songs for some channels, their shows, their intros and outros, and I do it for fun. Captain, yeah, I have this is my ex, Darnell Quigley. That's really the only one I use now. But yeah.
Cecil has never had a corner cut off of his Gen X membership card.
Yeah. Do I just radiate that Gen X thing? Yeah.
A little bit.
Cool. Everything's with X in the 90s, man. It was like X music. It was like X games, X Files, all that stuff.
Also, Captain Have Fun invited you specifically, Diesel, to be on a show with him.
Yeah, I told him to hit me up. That'd be cool.
Captain, make sure it's the right channel, right? There's a few.
Oh yeah, he just had a kid too. It's an adorable little kid. Man.
Oh, nice. Ours is a record with like a yellow label. That's awesome, dude. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, to all 127 of you across platforms, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. And we'll catch you on the next one. Like, subs, all the things. And have a good night. It's late. Tomorrow's a school night. Or tonight's a school night. Tomorrow's a school day. Whatever it is. All right. Good night. Thank you.
Sleep sweet.